Here he is. Happy birthday to my producer, the man, the myth, the legend, Waynesburg University's own Greg Finley. Happy birthday.
Hey, thanks, Rob.
So, look, we have a lot to get to. Here's my pick to win the World Series. The Philadelphia Phillies. Bryce Harper will take them to the promised land. What do you think?
I mean, I don't hate that pick. They have great offense. They have great pitching. They went and got some help in the trade deadline to add to their bullpen. I really like Carlos Estevez. You know, I just think about the Dodgers, and if Ohtani's going to pitch in the playoffs, which they're talking about could happen, that's a whole new weapon to that already loaded team. They worry me a lot.
So, some of the pundits are saying that Judge and Soto are the best 1-2 punch that the Yankees have had since Ruth Garrett.
Man, I mean,
I heard that today from an individual who I have a lot of respect for.
I don't disagree with that. I'm trying to think to some other duos with the Yankees, and you got Derek Jeter and Alex Rodriguez, but they weren't putting up these numbers that Soto and Judge are putting up. I would have to agree with that.
Can San Diego actually overtake the Dodgers for the division?
Did you see how that game ended last night?
Oh, come on, Greg. Now,
a triple play. That was incredible.
You know what I have to ask you about? I just need a few more at-bats and I get $200,000.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Well, I mean, it just stinks for Rowdy because he was 4 at-bats away from getting an incentive of $200,000. However, he was not putting up good numbers in September. So you can look at it 2 ways. The Pirates cut him because he wasn't hitting well, or the Pirates cut him because they didn't want to pay him more money. If they would have just benched him in these final 6 games, played younger people at first base and say, hey, we want to see what else we got, but they didn't actually cut him, I don't think anybody would have looked into this incentive. Because they cut him, somebody looked into it and they go, oh, Pirates are being cheap.
All right. Pirates, the season will come to an end. Yankees this weekend. What happens after that?
Well, I mean, a lot of guys are going to be gone because you only got them under a 1-year contract, but you're going to build around these young guys, especially build around Paul Skeens. Can you get a free agent that says, I want to play in Pittsburgh and I want to be on a team that's got Paul Skeens, who's going to win Rookie of the Year in the National League? Can you sell that to a player that either plays first base or plays the outfield, because that's what you need?
All right, let's talk some football. And we are going to talk the Steelers, but the University of Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier tonight, Casey Weathers, Next Take, was spending some time with me on the radio. And one of the things that I said to him was, what's it like, the atmosphere in Oakland at the university with his football team? He basically said, it's off the charts. Who would have ever thought last year that we'd be here off this week, North Carolina, big ACC game next week. And this Holstein is someone that I hope is around for many years to come. Name, image, and likeness. Please send in whatever you can. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the second game of the season when they played Cincinnati and they're getting their doors blown off in the first half. And it's like, oh boy, not same old Pitt, losing to Cincinnati, a team they should be beating. They come back, win the game. You go, wow, great comeback for Pitt. They're losing to West Virginia by 10 with 5 minutes left. Here come the comeback Kings again. Pitt just keeps coming back. This time they play Youngstown State, not a good football team, but they did what they needed to do. They beat them 73-17. I mean, I don't care who you're playing. You hang 73 on an opponent, that's a team I'm looking at like, hey, this team's dangerous. And the ACC is so wide open this year. Florida State having a down year. North Carolina gave up 70 points to James Madison last week. The ACC is wide open for Pitt to just take it.
Look, Kirby Smart in Georgia survived a major scare from Kentucky. The game of this week, no doubt, is Alabama-Georgia. Who do you like in that game?
It's Alabama at home. It's not Nick Saban's Alabama anymore. But for some reason, I got to take the Tide at home. I got to take Alabama.
All right. The other thing that you are famous for, you do a lot of podcasts behind the scenes for the great brand that we love, Odyssey. And I love the NBA. And everybody's talking about, the Penguins and the NHL, the camp getting ready. NBA's getting ready, too. Can anybody knock off Boston this year?
Yeah, I mean, if you look around the league, some teams made some good moves over the offseason. I like Oklahoma City. They're a younger team, but it just felt like last year they were young and inexperienced and couldn't take that next step. But I really think the Thunder are going to be tough. I'd like to see the Warriors make a push, but I just don't think they have enough firepower behind Curry. In the Eastern Conference, man, it's going to be tough to beat Boston, but Philadelphia adding Paul George, it's another weapon now to Joel Embiid. Now Embiid gets doubled. Okay, kick it to Paul George. He's a scorer. I like Philadelphia in the East.
Is Embiid worth $300 million?
I mean,
he's injured.
Yeah, he's always injured. He hasn't gotten to the Eastern Conference Finals. He always loses in the playoffs, but he's a 7-foot-tall guy that can hit a three-pointer, and you just don't have that many anymore in this league.
Guess what I was watching when I got home last night?
Do tell.
WNBA.
Oh, yeah.
Loving it. Caitlin Clark trying to stay alive tonight. Indiana, New York Liberty, watching them. Crowd, excited in New York. Man, this brand is really taking off.
Well, and I think that it's going to be Vegas and the Liberty because Asia Wilson is just unbelievable. Another 1,000.
Greatest player in the game right
now. Another 1,000-point scorer. Just incredible what she's done. And Sabrina Ionescu for the Liberty, she is so good.
Lights out.
Was so good in college at Oregon, and then she comes into the WNBA and has just been incredible.
All right, let's talk about our Penguins. Crosby, Malcolm, do they need to do more?
Yeah, but they're not going to because they continue to just say, we're going to run it back because we have Sidney Crosby. They never address the goaltending issue. It just continues to be, we're going to bring Jari back and see what happens, but Jari is not the answer. He has not proven himself in the playoffs or even in the regular season.
We talk football year-round because we love the NFL, and one of the things that Greg and I talk about every weekend before I go on the air early in the morning, he helps me set the stage, does all my social media videos, helps me with my sportscast, brought to you by Coons Quality Foods, everything I do on the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday Show. This guy right here is always serving up good information. One of the things that we dreamed about was getting Justin Fields, did we not?
Yeah, we talked about it in the offseason whenever we talked about quarterbacks. They signed Russell Wilson. I said, hey, I like the move. I still really wanted Justin Fields. They ended up getting Justin Fields, and he's doing exactly what people were saying he would do. He's using his legs to extend the plays. When guys aren't open, he's making his own plays with his legs. You are not getting that with Russell Wilson. You're just not.
All right, so let's talk about some of the other teams quickly in the AFC North, and then we'll do our picks. We do it every week. We go with betrivers.net. We pick our weekly winners against the spread in hour number 2. Cleveland, man.
You love to see it, Rob. I hate the Browns. I love to see it.
Deshaun Watson. How do you ever recoup that kind of cash?
Yeah, I know. They're hoping that he does something stupid off field where they can say, well, we got to get rid of you now because that contract that they're paying him for the performance that he's giving them, it's not good what's going on in Cleveland.
Ravens.
Man, Dallas almost had them. They almost had them at 0-3. The Cowboys almost came all the way back and took that game down 28-6. Unfortunately, they didn't. Look, it's the two-headed monster of Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. If you can stop those two, I think you can beat Baltimore because their receivers are nothing special. Mark Andrews is injury-prone. He's getting older. But you got to be able to stop the option.
Dallas Giants, Thursday Night Football. If Dallas loses to the Giants, could you see a coaching change and maybe Bill Belichick goes to Dallas? And Pittsburgh's own, I'm not hoping for it because I like Mike McCarthy from Greenfield. But, man, if they lose to Dallas, coming off their last performance, Jerry Jones aging, once that big game, that Lombardi trophy, now it's been 3 decades, anything's possible.
Look, if you lose to the Giants on Thursday Night Football, I think that's a big problem if you're the Cowboys because the sky was the limit with this team. They signed Dak Prescott to a long-term deal where he's making $240 million. He wanted a contract. He got a contract. But he's not holding his end up on the deal. They only have 1 win.
All right, listen, now getting close to the news, and then I've got to get back on the radio. I do want to do this, though. Go back to Cincinnati quickly. They always start slow, but should we be concerned if you're a Bengals fan?
No, I'm not concerned about the Bengals just because,
Too much talent.
What's that?
They got too much talent. They're not going to completely.
No, Burrow's coming off of that big injury that happened last year. T. Higgins coming off of an injury. Jamar Chase held out all offseason. They're a mess right now. And their defense, their secondary is a joke. I'm not worried about the Bengals.
All right, here we go. Time to pick some weekly winners, and we do this in the second hour every week. BetRivers.net is our line on the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday Show. So you got Giants getting 5.5 against Dallas. Who do you like?
I like the Cowboys.
Carolina getting 4.5 against Cincinnati. And how about Andy Dalton? Boy, he had a great game last week.
It's incredible how many survivor polls took a huge hit this weekend because Everybody took the Raiders because, they're playing the Panthers. They're terrible. Survivor pools died last weekend. Give me Carolina and Andy Dalton.
Denver getting 7.5 against Aaron Rodgers, who looked like the Aaron Rodgers from the MVP years in Green Bay. Jets giving them 7.5. Who do you like?
I'm gonna give Denver to cover. The Jets win.
All right, Rams getting 3, coming off a great performance from Matthew Stafford against Chicago. Who do you like?
I'll take the Rams.
Tampa Bay getting 2.5 against Philly.
I'll take the Philadelphia Eagles.
Sam Darnold playing like the first-round pick he was years ago. Incredible in recent days. Of course, Brian Flores defensively and lights out. Minnesota getting 2.5 against Green Bay. And Malik Willis, who ever said the kid from Liberty couldn't play? Go ahead.
Jordan Love could be coming back. I'll take the Packers.
Jacksonville getting 6.5 against Houston. There's a team, Jacksonville, that needs a win.
I'll take the Texans.
New Orleans getting 2 against Atlanta.
I'll take the Saints.
Washington, are they for real? We'll find out. Let's see what they do against Arizona. They're getting 3.5.
I like the Commanders in that game. Jaden Daniels is the real deal.
Everyone's injured for Frisco. They're getting 10 against New England. Who do you like?
I still like the 49ers.
Okay, New England getting 10 in that game. You're taking the 49ers.
Correct.
Chargers getting 8 against Kansas City.
I'll take the Chargers to cover.
Cleveland getting 0.5 point against Vegas.
I'll take the Browns.
Josh Allen looking like he is in it to win it. Looks incredible early on. Buffalo getting 2.5 against Baltimore.
I will take Buffalo.
Doubleheader Monday night. Miami getting 1 against Tennessee. Miami has no.
Huntley, it looks like. I'm going to take the Titans.
All right, Tyler Huntley, who really was. Where was he at?
He was with the Ravens. He was their backup quarterback.
Okay, we got Seattle getting 4 against Detroit. Who do you like?
That's going to be a fun game. I like the Seahawks.
All right, D game Sunday at Indianapolis. Lucas Oil Field, Indianapolis getting 2 against the Steelers.
Steelers stay undefeated and they win.
All right, Steelers, are they real?
They're real.
Fields real?
Fields is for real.
There you go. Greg Finley, more with your Pratte Pack on the radio now. KDK 100.1 FM AM 1020. Don't forget the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday show each and every week at 11 o'clock on KDKA.